Right. Hi, everybody. Welcome. This is Develop Your Mindset podcast. This is number 92. Not long ago, we did the 90 and we were excited, but this number 92, it is very special because each one is special. As you guys know, this is a jewelry company. We do manufacturing and we do retailing. Kabarti.com is our website, and we put our own designs and our own pieces on that website. Please visit, let us know what you think. That's what we do. And while we're doing all those designs and we're manufacturing and we're designing our own jewelry, we go through a lot of up and down, and a lot of things happen here and then. So we take that and we turn it into this podcast. And me and Luis, we're going to be talking about stuff that we go through. We think about these things, we actually live it, and we are going to sit and talk about it, explain to you guys what happens when you take action, when you do stuff that it is out of your comfort zone, and you what you learn and what happens. And so we're gonna tell our story, and Luis is with us as usual.
Yeah, hi everybody, and it's good to be back here for another episode. And yeah, we're gonna be talking about habits, paradigms, and stuff like that. Very exciting. Hope you guys are able to stay through the entire thing. And yeah, I mean, other than that, we can go ahead and get started.
Awesome, awesome. Yes, please do. If you do, then we're gonna learn from each other. And the way this is gonna go, it's gonna go with questions, and we're gonna tell the the experience. So the first, it's gonna go with change your habits, so you can change your paradigm or vice versa. So obviously, you guys may be familiar with habits. Also, I don't know if you're familiar with paradigm because it is state of mind. Everything that we do, and sometimes we're so caught up in doing one thing over and over and over, we forget that we can change that. We don't have to be that person. For me, I had to go through so many changes, and the way it happened was afterwards I changed my habits. Also, some habits I dropped them. I didn't use them anymore because I didn't need to. I didn't have to because my paradigm was shifted. It was very different. Some other things were became more surface important, and those were the things that I was thinking about and doing. And those, like when every time you hit your potential, you sometimes go through breakdown, and you break down. I'm sure, ask yourself to remember if you've experienced, you get so um, overwhelmed sometimes that tears start coming in from your eyes, and you just don't understand what is happening to me, type of deal. And then when that happens, you're kind of going through a breakdown, through emotional instability, and that is shift of paradigm, because you are most likely letting go your old version, and you're becoming the better version, or the next version of you. And then those are shifts of paradigms, and those are creating new habits and dropping old habits, type of thing. So I just wanted to tell you guys about this because this happens a lot. This happens this last 6 7 years, I would say. It's happening with me bunch. And not long ago, I had to go through one that definitely shift my thinking. My goals are still the same, but also I had to go through a paradigm shift. Put myself a set of belief system where now I think like that now, and I do see it that way. Hope this is going to help you to realize, if you guys going through something like this is what pretty much is going on. If you haven't, you probably most likely going to go through something like this. And if it does, you should be familiar with what is happening to you. And that's how you're going to be able to build yourself into the better version of you. Um, and that's amazing if that happens to you. And awareness is a good thing. So, how
For
do you
sure.
stay aware, man?
So when it comes to paradigms, I think something that you should really keep in mind is that you should really first think about, what is your purpose, what is your ultimate vision, like what do you want to accomplish in life, and really build your paradigm around that. So maybe you want to make a difference in the world through a specific avenue. So then that's going to require a certain paradigm for you to pursue. And paradigm to me is the way you see the world, and that encompasses everything pretty much. And so you get to decide that, and I think that's something that has to be very proactive. I don't think just having experiences and stuff like that is going to make that change for you. You have to be proactive about it. You have to have a strategy in order to convert those experiences that you're going through, that pain, into something that can be beneficial for you in the long run. So that can actually contribute to the ultimate paradigm that you choose to implement, that's going to help you achieve that vision that you're seeking. And so once you've picked a paradigm that's from a place of you taking control of your life instead of letting others dictate that for you, or letting the experiences or the circumstances dictate that for you, that's when you can actually start establishing certain habits that can help you get to where you want to get to as far as your vision goes, whatever your purpose is. So those habits, you implement them in place strategically so that you get to you achieve whatever vision it is that you're going after, instead of just walking randomly and just letting life take control of you. You take control of it by you implementing certain habits in your life that are gonna produce certain changes within you and produce certain results that will help you get closer to your goals, and of course your ultimate vision. And so that to me is what the paradigm how the paradigm and habits really connect with each other.
Awesome. Um, Please, if you guys have any thoughts about this, please leave comments down below because we really like to hear how do you see it, what has happened to you. It'd be very cool. So let's move on to the next. You don't let fear control you. Next thing, you guys are obviously know that you control the fear. That's what you hear next, but here it's going to be a little bit different, which is going to go, you don't control your fear, you don't let fear control you. You need to break your terror barrier. If you guys are not familiar with term, this term I heard it not long ago from what's his name, Pop Bob Proctor. You're familiar with him, right?
Yeah, he's from
The old dude,
from the
the
old time as
oldie.
well.
Yeah. So I was listening to him, and he used this term. I was like, oh shoot, like that's pretty well explanation of everything happens. That one, two words that he. I don't know if he came up by himself or he heard it from somewhere else, but I heard it from him, so he takes the credit. So the way this is gonna go, it is um, there are certain level of comfort, and then afterwards, when you push it further out, we intend to lose our comfort, and then when we lose our comfort, the fear comes about, and then we kind of stop. We don't go any further. Example: if I start doing this business, this work, or this relationship, or go out of my borders, such as like go to another country or something, then maybe something's going to go wrong. And that something going to go wrong, it will stop you taking that action. And that is an example for you guys to kind of know that that is the fear stops you taking that action. And that's why when we say you need to break your terror barrier, the fear that terrorizes you from taking action, you have to break through that terror barrier to you can actually pursue the next level of you. Whatever your level is, whatever your comfort zone is, you need to break through that to go to the next, whatever you're going to learn over there, or you're going to make a business, or you're going to find your spouse there, or maybe you're going to go to a beautiful trip and see some beautiful sceneries or country or something you're going to learn over there. So um, the the word here is breakthrough is the most important. I have to say there are um, a lot of seminars and a lot of different other things that happens in town, that you can go and break your terror barrier in those seminars. They will push you so hard that you um, learn to go through it. They'll help you to go through it. Uh, for instance, for me doing this show, this was at one point this was my terror. I was terrified to be in front of the camera. Every time I was in front of the camera, I felt like my heart's going to come out of my mouth. Like it was beating so fast. It was seriously. I was terrified. I couldn't be in front of the camera. But I made a decision at one point that I wanted to be in front of the camera, and I have a lot to say. And then that took me about 5 months. So for me, it took that long. I don't know what's going to happen to you if you're doing or not, but I think they all have what is the word? Incubation? Incubated? When, or let's use another word, which is like when mother gets a girl gets pregnant and has its own time to develop the baby, and that part is what do you call that? Um, there isn't a word for it, name for it. Um, Incubation. Is that it's coming up wrong? I know it's so wrong. I guess you guys get it. Um, so you have to go through that time period of development. So many times we want to do things right now, and if your mind is not ready for it and you don't have the real right tools developed for it, you have to kind of give yourself a little bit chance, time until you go through this period where you are ready to come in front of the camera and start speaking, and then eventually get better and better. Eventually study yourself and then become better version of you every time you're in front of the camera. So that's the thing, you have to let go of your fear sometimes to break through your terror barrier and to become the better version of you, whatever you're going to do. Pretty much, that's what I have to say. There's a lot, much deeper, but I think that's
Yeah.
pretty good explanation.
Yeah. So don't let fear control you. Um, you need to you need to break your terror barrier. Uh, so yeah. So first of all, fear itself. I mean, I don't see fear as a bad thing. I think fear in of itself is a sort of signal that there's something there. Whether it's because sometimes it could be something that could be pretty useful, and it could potentially save your life at times, or save you from potentially going into dangerous situations or situations that you shouldn't be really involved with. So in a sense, it has its benefits, but also I think the problem is when the fear is actually holding you back from doing something that you feel like you really want to do, but but the fear in of itself is stopping you from taking action. So I think that's really where the problem is. And so when that's the case, when it hinders and prevents you from taking action, there's a few things you can do there. I mean, first of all, the fear itself will not go away until you actually go and take action. So just keep that in mind. And second of all, I mean, I think you should have a very strong reason to do what you're going to do. So if there's a genuine passion for it, that in of itself is already, a plus. Another thing to really do is, focus on the pain of actually not doing it, and really, envision yourself in the future and see how, you just not doing this, how is it going to affect you in the future? Like you missing out on this opportunity and just postponing it and letting the fear control you. Just think about how much you will be missing out, by not taking some sort of action. So you can do that. Another thing you can do is diminish the amount of, diminish the level of initiation. So maybe the reason you fear taking action is because you think that you have to do something massive right off the bat. You have to do something very impressive, or you have to get it right from the start. But the thing is, you don't, and most likely you won't if this is your first time. So just keep that in mind. Have a very very easy entry level type of deal, and lower the standards at first, because you're just getting started, and then later on you can gain some more experience, get better, and then you can elevate your standards at that point. So yeah, I mean, there's and of course there's the terrifying situation where you just feel very scared to get started. You feel nervous, you feel this and that, and that's something that you'll normally feel. That's something that it's just not going to go away. You just kind of have to embrace it and really just go through it. But like I said, those other things can help you on having a strong reason, having the tools, having the skills, preparing yourself ahead of time. Do what you can, study, look at others do it. If you need somebody to pep talk you, motivate you, go and get somebody to do that for you. Whatever, there's a lot of things that can help you out, but ultimately it's up to you. What you want to do. Maybe you need to create a strategy around it. I mean, that's something that I like to do most of the time. That gives me some confidence. To go ahead and get started once I know that I have a plan. I have something that I can go by. I'm not just loosely and randomly just going and taking action. Uh, and another thing too is make sure that that action is congruent with who you are. Uh, like I said, I think you should have a purpose. You should have something that you really love and you're devoted to, and that's where your energy and time should be going to. I don't think you should be doing random activities and throughout the day, or doing like just random activities that are taking your time. And yes, you can push yourself past the fear of doing those things, but and maybe gain a new experience. But you're sacrificing time that could be spent on your purpose as well. So think about that as well, because it's not all like, it's I think it's proper to have a strategy in your life and strategize your time properly every single day to get more done.
Yes, time is valuable. Don't waste it. Yesterday I went to Sprouts with my son. Those shelves I didn't see anywhere selling time, so they don't sell time. Um, Set goals. Set your minds and your frequency. Setting goal is very very crucial, very important, as you guys know. Hopefully you know. And if you want to start something, you better have a goal, such as what do you want it to accomplish with that thing that you wanting to do. So your goal must be very very clear. Um, and set your minds. You have to set your mind to start your goal, or to know how to accomplish your goal, or what if you need to do some education about that industry. Maybe you should, and you should understand everything that you need to know about that industry, so your goal becomes more apparent, more real, so you have more, like, better chance to succeed in that goal. Um, Practice makes it perfect, so you just probably need to do some more practice on that. And the frequency is very important. See, like, if you're going to do a deal, you have to understand frequencies. Every one of us, we have frequency. Our minds have frequency. If you, for instance, think about somebody, next thing you know, that person calls you. How the hell that happened? You don't need to know. All you need to know is your mind is sending frequency, and that person's mind is picking up that frequency, and he's remembering to call you. And then that's how that's going to work. And it doesn't matter from downtown Los Angeles to Pasadena, or from downtown Los Angeles to Germany. It doesn't matter. The frequency travels anywhere. So you have to have goals, and you have to set your frequency, your mind on the right channel, and then that's going to help you to be able to attain that goal. And whatever it takes, you're going to do it, and however long it takes, you're going to stay doing it, so you get to your goal. And here, frequency is very important. I want to talk about frequency just a little bit longer. Okay, so frequency is also an energy too. So you have to put this um, uh, right amount of energy and frequency, so it will what is the word, like it will incubate, and it will come back to you in that frequency. So um, I guess you have to really understand this and practice, and then like make sure that you are familiar with this, how this is working. It's almost like it's a um, the energy comes back to you. It doesn't dissipate, and so you have to be careful what you're thinking about, what how you're thinking about it, because this is how this works, and I did not create this. I had to learn this. This was working like this back in the ages, and it's going to work like this in the future too. So you have to do some research if you need to, or if you are using this method, you have to keep on using and try to aim your goal and your frequency into the right direction, so you get the feedback the way you want it to come back to you. So end of the day, you are the person. I am the person sending this energy, the frequency out, and it's my goal, and that's how what's gonna come back to me. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty much. It turned into an explanation how this
Yeah.
thing works.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I don't know if you have something to say
well,
about how you use it. Maybe that's different angle.
when we here explain frequency, I just frequency. I would pay more attention to the goals themselves than the frequency itself. I think frequency is something that's I don't think it's something that's not real, but I just don't think it's a high contributing factor as far as like achieving things. I think it may be effective for relationships and for meeting people and conversing with them, getting along with maybe potential friends, love partners, business partners. You can always um, it'll help you choose better people to work with and better people to be around. But other than that, I mean, setting your goals and stuff like that, achieving things, I think that really comes down to your to you having a proper strategy, from like you having your own vision, you having your goals, having your objectives, having specific steps that are going to help you achieve those goals, having a plan laid out, and strategically putting everything in place so that eventually things do happen and come to fruition, as opposed to just leaving it on luck, or just randomly trying to achieve things, just by taking chance here and taking another chance there. You can have a proper strategy that can actually deliver, and that you can actually track and measure to see if things are actually working or not, and be able to make adjustments from a strategic standpoint, as opposed to an emotional standpoint where you just emotionally feel like, oh, maybe I should change that. I don't feel good about it or something like that. With strategy, you can, even if you feel bad about it, you know that the strategy uh, may work out down the line because the strategy, was put in place for a reason. And so it can work out even if you just don't feel good about it. But yeah, that's as far as that goes. That's my take on that.
All right. Next is change your perception, change your life. Um, Perception is reality, but also perception, uh, it's you building your life. Life meaning, do you want a house? Do you want to own a car? Do you want to be married? Do you want to have kids? Like, what do you want to do? What is your paradigm? What is your perception in what do you want when you grow up? What do you want to be like? And you have to understand and uh, really how should I put this? With what direction we need to go with this? It's sometimes before you start uh, going to the place that you want to go, your mind start making and building pictures in your mind, and then you're thinking you want to get there, you want to jump in the water or swim, or you want to meet people, or you want whatever you want to do. That you're building that perception of that place that you're gonna get to, or maybe it's your future. You want to be this person, that person. You want to have this much money. You want to have all these things. Like you're building your perception. That's like you're planning ahead of time before you get there. Sometimes we get there, it's not exactly the same how we perceive things, but um, that's but also before you start your journey, it's very important to have some perception about what do you want to do when you get there. So it's very important to really use your mind power to create a an atmosphere in your mind, and that's like almost you have the goal, but you're building a perception about how it's going to be when you get there. And then so many times when you get there, like, you end up doing exactly what you were thinking about, even though sometimes it's not the right thing to do when you get there. You have to be very open to change your perception in that point at that point. But sometimes other people will come tell you like, dude, if you do it this way, it's much easier, it's much better. But just because you have this perception in your head how it was supposed to be, and then you just like automatically or subconsciously you're doing that, that's pretty much when you get there. When I say change your life, meaning yes, when you get there, you are not doing the same things that you were doing before. You're doing completely different things because the paradigm has changed, and the perception is that you had is different. It's changed when you now you're doing all these new things. So um, here you have to maybe before you get there you want to do some more research. Maybe you want to learn a little bit more about what you're about to embark that journey, and then when you get to that journey, end of that journey, you have to have closest possible perception about that thing that you're um, embarking on. So yeah, definitely your life is going to be changed, and then change your life is very true. So yeah, you have to understand this is it. This is how it's going to go. You just have to learn how to attain this, you know, mindset.
Yeah. So perception. I think perception is nice. It's like something that you use to, like, you visualize, you change the way you see things. Sure. And you can do that through studying, through courses, through putting yourself in situations where you get to experience different things that change your perception ultimately, right? But from going from that to actually changing your life, I think that's a whole different thing there. I think perception in of itself can be the first step, but of course, I think afterwards, it's important that you implement some sort of action plan, some sort of strategy that's going to get you from, you what you're perceiving to actually making it a tangible reality. And I think that's more important than just the having the perception itself. um, I know people, and I've been through that as well, where I just had the perception itself, where I believed many of the things that are taught in personal development. I even spoke about them. I shared the ideas, but there was no plan. I had no strategy. So most of the things that I believed in, that I had experienced and studied, I wasn't necessarily living through them in actual reality. They weren't happening on my day to day. So it was until I actually started to develop a strategy around it, put some goals in place, establish some level of discipline, that I actually started to see things happen, and actually started to see some changes and actual results. And that's why to this day I still do the same thing, and I believe more in strategy than I believe in just visualizing things. While it may be nice and pretty to visualize certain things and see yourself in certain areas and see yourself owning certain things, that's all nice and everything. But if there's no actual plan, if there's no strategy, I think it's just going to remain that. And I think that in of itself is not, it's not very enjoyable. I don't think that's very something that you should strive for. I think and it's even more productive that you actually focus on the strategy itself, because that in of itself will actually get you some results, and you actually get to see them in reality. You actually get to achieve things and have them there. And uh, and and really, there's no kidding yourself. There's no manipulating your own mind or tricking yourself, because it's there. It's a reality. It's a fact. It's not just something that you're perceiving. It's not just something that you're making up. It's something that's real. You have results to prove it, and that's ultimately what I think should matter.
All right, beautiful. Next is it does not come because how you know, comes because what you know. So how and what is the main word here? It does not come because how you know. Um, how you know, you just know sometimes, and sometimes it's not important how you know, but like sometimes because somebody that did this, did that, and then that's how you do it. That's how you know, and but you become uh, because um, so like because you go there, you experience it, you practice it. So you have to when you think like when I think about something, I think about, have I been there, have I experienced this, do I know somebody that experienced this. It's not the same because both of them are very different way of thinking, very different outcome. So especially when you're telling the story, just make sure that you know so much about that story, and that's when you're um, allowed to say it. You should allow yourself to say that story. So you have to be careful, not to talk like you've been there. That's the thing where you should allow yourself only the things that you are very familiar with, so you sound very credible and you know what you're talking about. So that's the thing here. Here, again, it says it does not come because how you know comes because what you know. Also here, like I guess I'm saying here, what is it going to come? Maybe money, maybe something else that you're after. So it's going to come because uh, you know how to bring it to you. So you're going to work on it with your knowledge, with your experience, with people that you know that can help you to get that thing, and then that's how it's going to come to you. This thing that you're after. Yeah. Um, Not because how you know to get it, but you know the actual how to get it. So that's pretty much this is where it ends. Yeah, and it's a little tricky here, but the moral story is, whatever you know, that's what you're gonna get in the end. That's what's gonna come to you.
Yeah. Oh no, that was very confusing.
Yeah, it is confusing, but really, like you don't get something because how you know you're gonna get it. You get something, with what you know how to bring it to you.
Of course. Yeah. The strategy.
Yeah. At this point, I think maybe you can explain this a little better.
Yeah. So knowing like what you're gonna get and knowing how to get it. Of course, I mean, learning how to get it. Of course, it's a process in of itself. Primarily because you are who you are, and that usually there's many ways to get certain things, but I think it really ultimately depends on you and who you are as a person, your personality, and of course what your background is, and all of those things are going to contribute to how you proceed forward. Because you have your personality, so you as a person, you have your own preferred methods of study, or perhaps you don't even like studying. So then we gotta work on that first. You gotta find some sort of a way to get yourself motivated to start studying. Once you start studying, then you have to find your best preferred method of studying. So maybe you like to read books, maybe you like to take courses, watch YouTube videos, whatever the case may be. But you have to find whatever your preferred method of studying is, because that's the one that's easiest to you. And then once you find that, then that's when you can actually start studying. And then when you study in a way that's strategic. So maybe there's certain things that you have to learn first. So maybe you start with the basics, the foundational things that are going to help you get whatever it is that you want to get. You learn the basics, the foundations, before getting into the more advanced things. And of course, don't confuse this with starting off like small and stuff like that, that you have to go big. Sure, it's good to have a big goal to accomplish, but I think the steps that you take there will definitely depend on your skill as well. So how skilled you are, and how much talent you have at that as well, natural talent. Maybe you can go at a faster pace than somebody else. So then you will learn that as you study. And of course, when you're studying, it's also good that you implement some sort of action blended in with that studying, so that what you're studying is also being implemented and it's internalized. And then eventually, you do that several times, it becomes a habit. And so little by little, everything will just become the foundation. The basics will become a habit to you, so you won't have to struggle with the foundation. And then you can start implementing more and more complicated things as you go, and eventually you will get what you want. But that's pretty much a little basic strategy there to approach something like this.
Alrighty. Next one, we're gonna go with what you when you pay attention. So I don't know if you're paying attention, but every time you learn something, it sometimes it costs very expensive on you. Meaning you lost time, money, effort, friends, company. You lose a lot. And then long time ago, I had a friend, and he was a client too of mine. And he tried to do a website. He tried to do these designs and idea. I was telling him in between where I felt like this point, that point, he wasn't doing as good as it could come out, and he was like not paying so much attention. But in the end, he lost a lot of time and money, and he was so frustrated. He was angry, and he was confused. I told him, listen, um, this was a school for you, and you learn uh, from this, and then you're not going to do this kind of thing again. You're going to do a lot better than what you did today. About 7 years later, when I spoke to him about, he remembered. He told me about this. He said, "I remember what you told me," and he's much better place today in his life, in business life. But he told me that that's exactly what happened. He said that's exactly what I got out of that experience, and I'm not doing the same kind of mistakes any longer. And he's much better uh, uh, decision maker today. Before it happens, he kind of knows now. So when you pay attention. So now he pays attention. Um, you have to know when you are starting something new, you don't have much experience. Most likely, you're gonna end up paying something, paying money, time, or it could be other things that you're going to be paying with, such as you're losing, you're probably going to miss your best friend's wedding or something. So you pay a lot, and then when you learn from that, you start paying attention more. So this here, I put it here so I get to talk about this and just put this out there for you guys.
Yeah. So I thought you were referring to something else. I'll talk about that in a
All right.
second. But yeah, definitely. I think when you pay, as far as like paying like with mistakes and stuff like that, when things don't
Mhm.
necessarily go your way. Sure, I mean that can be something that can deeply impact you at an emotional level, and sure you can. But I think that of course it takes some sort of proactivity. You have to be proactive with that. Take your emotion, work with it, and turn it into something that can be valuable for yourself. This is something that I've been doing in the past, and it's proven very effective. I mean, but you have to be proactive about it. You can't just allow the emotion to consume you or to take control of you,
For sure.
and then just let it
Yeah.
do whatever it wants with you. I think you have to have some sort of method, something that's going to help you convert that into something that can potentially help you down the line in the future.
Mhm.
And yes, obviously, when something like that happens, moving forward, obviously, you do pay more attention to those things, and you try to avoid certain mistakes to happen again like that. And of course, this is something that I've pretty much implemented this, and that's what's led me to be who I am today. I've deviated more into like strategy and more like. Things like these, because that's what's proven, at least for me, to help me feel fulfilled, feel good, and feel like I'm moving forward. And that's really what's propelling me. I mean, sure, this can change in the future.
Mhm.
I'm open to that, but as of now, this is what's working for me, my current self, and I'm gonna continue on. I don't think you should like if it's working, don't mess with it. Keep doing it until obviously eventually what
It's
you're
not working.
eventually your system will either continue working until you know you don't exist anymore, or it may change down the line, and you may have to realize that you may have to make some adjustments. But other than that, I don't think you should make any adjustments coming from the coming from a judgmental standpoint, like when people are telling you to change and they're telling you like things like that. uh, you should change when you yourself are feeling like you're just not getting what you want anymore.
When you're ready.
You're not even then, like I just don't think that. Like I just think that you should make a change when you just don't feel satisfied with your results, with what you're getting out of life. When it's that tipping point, because I don't think you should base it because that's when you have a certain control. Because really, at the end of the day, you have to take care of yourself first. So if you yourself feel good about what you're doing, then keep doing it. But if at some point you just don't feel good about it anymore, and and even then, maybe the feedback around you is positive, but you just don't feel good about it anymore. They change it, because ultimately it's about you.
That's exactly why I said when you're ready, because when you're feeling good about yourself, and most likely you're doing something, you could be doing something better, much better, and you're just feeling good about it, and you're not doing changing because you're not ready. And
Hmm.
that's what I meant.
Well, yeah, but yeah, it's always like strategic, always
Mhm.
figuring out like when it's time to start going in a different direction. But yeah, the other thing I thought you were mentioning, I thought it was like when you pay attention. I meant like when you invest in like uh, certain education and things like that. Like when
True.
when you pay, as opposed to just getting free content like on YouTube or anywhere else.
Like this word, you can take it to many different places. I brought that example because that was something happened not very long ago, but because of the sheer of how frustrated he was, how upset he was, and then 7 years later he's like laughing about it, and he's like telling me how he learned from that. And then he was like, how, because I went through similar things, and at one point I stayed over 2 years mad, angry, upset. And then, I wish I didn't. I didn't know any better. I lost those 2 years that I cannot bring it back. You want to give me 2 years? You can't. I lost my 2 years,
Yeah.
and if we can just help you out with what we're talking about here so you don't have to lose 2 years, that's like, that's this show is about that, you know putting our experiences and our, like, what we know, what we learn, and what we do here. So that's what it's about.
Yeah.
You don't have to lose 2 years. You can just 2 hours later you can snap out of it, you can get out of it. You don't need to stay angry, and take that as a lesson, and then continue uh, smash until you die thing.
Yeah.
So
But yeah.
one of our medallion.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. I thought that's what you meant about like paying and like investing in education.
You should too, because at the end of the day, when you pay attention.
Yeah, yeah. So I do this like a lot now. Like this is pretty much how I do my education now. Like it's all paid, whether that's through books. I know a lot of people like to go to the library and stuff and get the books for free. I don't actually like to pay for the books just because I'm actually paying for it, and so because I actually put some money into it, I feel more motivated, more compelled to actually pay attention to what I read
Mhm.
and actually take whatever's in there more valuable as opposed to if I got the books for free,
Mhm.
then they're free books. I mean, whatever. And also like learning from YouTube. I don't necessarily study that much on YouTube as much anymore as I used to in the past. Now actually like I try to buy a course whenever I can, and that because I paid for the course, it just I tend to just pay
It
more.
becomes real.
I pay more attention to it, and I actually try to follow the steps
Very
and
true.
the exercises that are in the course.
Definitely. Definitely. That's exactly how that works. And then again, anything in life, you pay the price, you will pay attention. What is paying the price? My son recently, he loves doing skateboarding, and his friends was recording him. I watched it, and he went really fast, and he lost control and he fell. He came home with scrapes everywhere.
Well,
Do you think he's gonna do that mistake again? He's gonna try his damn best not to do that mistake again. He understands if he falls again, he's gonna go through 2 weeks of pain until that heals. So when you pay the price, you pay attention. You plan ahead of time not to go out of control and fall on your head.
Yeah,
So yeah, you start using strategy before you actually start heading down that hill. Um, is my tires are good? Let me walk down there and check if there's loose stones. Is it
yeah,
gonna throw me off? And you start, like looking and checking and understanding the course before you actually hit it.
for
So
sure.
yeah, and then you start paying attention. That's what this this thing is here. Next is come to an agreement with yourself and make better version of you. Um, don't take this in a wrong way. You have to come to an agreement with yourself. Uh, Sometimes this works the opposite way. Sometimes, me personally, I was in agreement with myself and I was in the wrong side of the things. And I thought, I'm going to make it by myself. You've heard the story, guys, if you watch this show. And I'm going to work by myself and I'm going to buy a house and cars and everything. And then I was in agreement with myself. And that was really, really bad for me. I did not know for many, many, many years had passed, many summers and winters, many Christmases, many New Year's passed, and then I freaking realized that, oh my God, what the fuck am I doing? This is horrible. This is wrong, and had to go through a breakthrough, meaning I crashed, and I had to rebuild myself, and then I had to agree with myself that I'm never going to do this again. So that became my agreement, and that's how since then I've been on the continuing my journey of in life. So when you come to an agreement, meaning come to a realization and understand the repercussions of that, and then you then come to an agreement, not just like that, with yourself, and make better version of you, and then you have to build a better version of you. What is it going to take to do better now? And now that I know this is not working, that's going to work better. Now I have to become smart in that. Maybe start reading books as usual, start going to courses as usual, start behaving in a certain way, start having like maybe you need to get rid of some people in your life, and then maybe you need to stop watching TV, start listening to certain music that lifts you, whatever it takes. Once you become in agreement with yourself, you need to start building your better version, and that's going to take work. And then when the work is done, then a lot of the other things that we talked about, you're going to practice it, and pretty much this is where it's going to end. I went through this. It wasn't easy, but it's durable. Whatever your mind can conceive, it can achieve. Meaning, if you understand it, you can achieve it. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so come to an agreement with yourself. Yeah, I mean, definitely there's going to be times where, things are just, you're going to crash, things are just not going to go well. And so, yeah, at that point, you got to make that decision to, like, accept what just happened and learn from it, take it as a valuable learning experience, and, try to, make a better version of yourself and improve yourself some way, somehow, like there's always value in every experience that you go through, and I think it's really your job and your responsibility to take that experience and and use it moving forward, to develop yourself and turn yourself into somebody much better than you were previously, someone who's wiser, smarter, and you can make better decisions, of course, and move yourself forward in certain ways, and I think that's very valuable. Yeah.
All right, so here I see that this word is supposed to be something else. Trans-surfing.
Mm,
I wanted to talk about trans-surfing. Trans, not transferring. Okay,
transfer.
all right. Okay, so it goes like this. This is the last question because um, the show is about mindset, and we're talking about a bunch of mindsets. And also, I'm going to talk to you guys about trans-surfing a little bit here, and we're going to close the show. And then the show starts develop your mindset on what is trans-surfing and what does it do to your mindset. All right, so trans-surfing is something that occurs. It's in this realm, it's in reality, and we live in reality. Sometimes we live in our bubble, and we are pushed around with in the system. Especially here in the United States in America, we live in a system, and the system is always keeping us in check, so we don't grow here as much and we don't fall down so much. And this is, we are living in this kind of system. um, if you're watching this from another country, it might be a little bit different for you, but you have to understand what this means. Transurfing means your mind can get really caught up um, in trance where something is happening, and then you become part of it, and then you just start surfing and going places that you're not attended to be going, and maybe that's not good for you, but because you are following this currents, this, you know, trance surfing, it will shift your paradigm, it will shift your mindset, it will shift your goals, and then next thing you know, you just lost another year and a half. And by the time you come back, you find yourself, you like, oh my god, this wasn't my agreement, what am I doing? You come back to your track of continuing. You probably lost year and a half. Now, it happens to all best of us. But you have to understand, when you are in it, you have to realize, you have to understand, you have to get out of it. Especially these days, this is happening a lot. I mean, this is happening outrageously a lot. And especially past election, a lot of people were just like in trans surfing into atmosphere, and they wouldn't come down. A lot of them are stuck up there, and they don't want to understand, that they need to come back home. What is your home? Your home is your safe place. That's where your mind works the best, you function the best. So you have to be careful with the not so good transurfings, but also you have to be aware that there are really good transurfings. You have to get into those pendulums, those trans, and start transurfing it, start practicing those kind of mindsets. Maybe, like where Louise was saying, and I'm saying, you start going to seminars, you start attaining to classes that gonna help you to become the better version of you, and then those, you can treat those as a your new trends that you are involved in. And with this, I want to close. And this is how you develop your mindset. And your mindset is everything. If you don't have the right mindset, you are not going to make it. If you have the right mindset, you and your family and your friends, everybody around you, going to be better because of you. And then, so pay attention, build yourself up, build yourself strong, become your own best version, and just, you can have such an amazing life, such amazing influence. And then when you go out, you're gonna go out with your best version, you know.
Yeah. So transurfing.
Transurfing.
Yeah. We don't really use that word. I mean, it's something that I was trying to understand when you were talking about it.
You know what trans means? Something new, something like you are stuck, in it, and you're just like coasting, surfing, and this could be bad pendulums, you know, or good ones. So,
So it's just something new,
um,
something
yeah, most of the time, especially in politics, there's always these new crazy things happening, and then they're making people to fall into it, and then support them with that idea because they want to pass some kind of law or they're going to do something with that.
of course.
This is politics. It could be Nike just came out with some new shoes.
Yeah,
Everybody fucking wearing it, and if you're not wearing it, you're not one of them.
yeah,
you
yeah,
know and like what kind of surfing is this? You're like, what are you doing? Do you
yeah,
realize Nike is making billions of dollars?
yeah,
And what are you doing? What are you making out of this thing? So there's a lot of surfings happening everywhere, in and out. We have to be aware where we're spending our time and what we're paying attention to, like what are the
yeah,
repercussions of it
yeah.
later.
Well, actually, I mean, I might have had more of a that might have been more of a thing maybe in the past for me. Nowadays,
How
I,
did you do it then?
I don't really like. Actually,
Talk about how did you do it, because it's important for the viewers to understand.
I'm more rigid. More like um, yeah. Well, pretty much. It really starts with you, really taking control of your life and really saying like no more. Like
Beautiful.
as far as like letting other people uh, control your life or really tell you who you are or try to do things like those. It's really when you decide for yourself that you yourself are going to take control of it. You're gonna schedule your own time, and you're gonna accomplish certain activities, and you have your goals, you have your purpose. Once those things are established, I think that it just becomes much easier to stick to your own thing, do your own thing, and really not necessarily get pulled into things that don't necessarily contribute to your ultimate purpose. So
Mhm.
and this comes at a cost, of course. This isn't something that it sounds nice and pretty, but it's actually something not easy to accomplish because I mean, taking control of your own, like let's just say your schedule, that can be pretty hard, especially if you're like if you still work at a job, because you have to follow certain instructions there, so you don't have much freedom there. Maybe you have responsibilities, you have to take care of someone, or you're part of a family or stuff like that, right? So
Yep.
there may be very
Sick mom.
there may be little control of your life. So in those situations, you do have to make some calls that may be a little bit more rigid, more cold, insensitive, but you have to make them. And there's something that I've done in the recently, and it hasn't been like the nicest of things, but at the end of the day, you have to take control of your own life, and sometimes that means something that he was saying. Sometimes you just have to leave places, you have to drop certain people, you have to do what you have to do. But yeah, this really comes down to your purpose and you taking control of your life. And sometimes the methods will not be as pretty as far as like the people around you, but you just have to make your decisions for yourself and really pursue that which you love and what you feel that's where you can explode the most and make the most impact, because that's really what it comes down to at the end of the day. You want to make the most impact on the people you want to help with and
Or planet.
yourself. um I wouldn't go beyond earth, but whatever.
No, planet meaning here, the Earth, not beyond. No, but because the reason I said that, I just when you were explaining that, I remembered, Elon Musk, or I
Yeah,
remember what's his name, the Apple,
yeah, of
you
course. I
know,
mean, those are
those
sure,
are
sure. I mean,
they created their own transurfings, man.
you
Like,
can you can do that if that's as big as you want to think, but
Right,
you don't
right.
have to though. I mean, sometimes maybe you just want to help the little guy there. Maybe you just want to help a
Maybe
certain
yourself.
country. Maybe you just want to help your city. You want to do something really great for your city. You love your
Right,
city a lot, and
right,
your city is the only thing that you care about. That's fine.
right.
Like your city needs someone like that. Your city needs a leader and needs someone who can handle the city well. So that may be you. And so
Yeah,
you just have to decide. The level of impact, and that level of impact is really up to you as well. Like it doesn't matter what everybody says that, oh, like the biggest level of impact has to impact the entire world. uh that's really up to you how you decide what matters to you ultimately. And so yeah.
awesome. Yeah. So I think we're done with develop your mindset. Hopefully, this helped you guys uh, to realign your goals and to readjust your how you're gonna get there. And it's all about like developing your mindset.
Mhm.
Your mindset is everything because everything happens here happens in real life. That's how you're gonna act accordingly. So hopefully we achieved today to talk about develop your mindset on transurfing, on a bunch of things that we talked about. Um, Terror barrier, you know, paradigm, all this stuff. And if you guys have any questions, please leave comments down below. We'd love to hear about it. If you guys want to know a little bit more about certain thing that we talked about with this, we can go much, much, much deeper into those things that we talked about. We will do our own due diligence and we'll come and put a show for you guys to do more explanation of it. This is what we like to do. This is what we're doing. Also, this is what happens in the company, and then we talk about all these things because we go through them. And thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah. So thank you very much for being here. I mean, it's always good to have you for another episode, and I hope you learned a lot from this one. As always, links down below to our social media handles, to our website for jewelry, and links to our book as well. If you want to download the book or you want to listen to the audiobook version, the 10 Stages to Skill Mastery, that'll teach you how to become a master. And so, yeah, other than that, we hope to see you in the next episode.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.